Hello everyone, welcome back. So today in this video I am going to discuss about what is functional testing in software testing. So guys, see, functional testing means, so if you guys just simply think about that, whenever we are testing anything by their functionality, right? So that is a short term. Whenever we are testing anything by testing their functionality, how the application is working. Okay, so that is called a functional testing. So if I am telling you some more details about functional testing, so we can tell that functional testing is a type of software testing that validates the software system against the functional requirements or specification. Means, suppose customer has given some set of requirement. Okay, let's say I'm just giving you one example. Let's say this is one login page. Customer has given some requirement that in that page there should be one username, there should be one password field, and there should be one login button. Okay, so if any user clicking on the login button, whenever any user clicking on this login button, a new page will appear. Let's say one home page will appear. So this is the customer requirement. So functional testing means we are testing like that. We are clicking on the login button and suddenly one new page, home page will appear. So that means we are checking the functionality. So we are putting the username, we are putting the password, and obviously both username and password should be correct one. So if we put the correct username, if we put the correct password and clicking on the login button, then suddenly one new page will appear. Means we are testing the functionality of the application, how the applications will work. Okay, that is called functional testing. So functional testing is a type of software testing that validates the software system against the functional requirements or specification. That is nothing but called as a functional testing. Okay, so now what are the purpose, what is the purpose of doing functional testing? The main purpose of functional testing is to test each function of the software application by providing appropriate input, verifying the output against the functional requirements. Means my requirement is that whenever we are clicking on the login button, one new page, home page will appear. So that is my functional requirement. Okay. So what is the main purpose of functional testing? We are putting the input, means we are clicking on the login button, and what would be the expected result? That home page will appear. That means we have to check that what type of input we are putting, and based upon that input what output we are getting, right? So what is the main purpose of functional testing? Is to test each function of the software application. Each and every function should be work, right? So by providing appropriate input and verifying the output against the functional requirements. Okay, so this is the main purpose of functional testing. So we can easily say that functional testing means, when we can say that functional test is pass when the expected result and the actual results both will equal. Means expected results is equals to actual results, then we can say that functional testing is pass, right? So expected result means customer requirement, client requirement, that is my expectation. What is the actual results? Whenever we are testing any applications by following the client requirement, then what result we are getting, that is called actual result. So functional testing equal to, we can say that expected result is equals to actual result. Okay, now clear guys? Now functional testing mainly involves black box testing. So if you guys don't know what is black box testing, so don't worry about that. I will create one separate video on that black box testing, so no problem. So for that video, just remember that thing, that functional testing mainly involves black box testing. So black box testing is also same, what input we are putting and what output we are getting. Okay, without testing any coding knowledge, without knowing any coding knowledge, without testing anything internal code structure, that is called a black box testing. So same thing, we also test in that functional testing. We are just looking that what the client requirement and what input we are putting on that applications or functionality and what output we are getting. Okay, so the functional testing mainly involves black box testing and it is not concerned about the source code of the application. That what I am telling you, that in that black box testing we don't need to check any source code, any internal code structure. Same thing we will do in the functional testing also. We are not involving any types of source code checking or any type of internal code structure checking. Okay, so functional testing can be done either manually or using automations. So either manually we can test it or by automation we can test it. So if we do it manually, then obviously as per client requirement we will check by it manually. And if we do it automation, then obviously we will see the client requirement. Then there is some different tools for that functional testing. So what tool we use, so I will discuss in later in this video. Okay, so functional testing can be done either manually or using automation. Okay, now coming to the next point, few examples of functional testing. So example means I have already told you guys. Suppose this is one login form, and login form, what functionality should we check? Means we are putting correct username, correct password, and then clicking on the login button. One new page will appear. That is my expectation. Okay, that is the client requirement. And we are testing same. We are putting the correct username, we are putting the correct password, and we are clicking on the login button. And we can see that one new home page is appearing. Okay, so this is the functional testing. Or if we, uh, if I give you one more example, suppose just assume that Flipkart application. Okay, so Flipkart application, if we check the function, if we do the functional testing, I'm just giving you one dummy example. Okay, so first we will do the login. Okay, then after login we will search one product. Suppose I want to buy a mobile phone. So what I will do, I will search that mobile on that search bar. So guys, you have already know that how how looks the Flipkart application. Okay, so first we will search that particular mobile on the search bar. Then we will select our favorite phone, what mobile I want to buy. I will choose that phone and I will add that phone to my cart page. Okay, that is called add to cart. Okay, then I will payment for that phone. Okay, and then one suppose one model or one page will appear that your phone has you have successfully purchased this mobile. That means this is a functional testing. That was the client requirement. That client requirement says that the same thing, and we are also testing the same thing. That is called functional testing. How the software functionality is work, that is functional testing. Okay, so we are testing the functional. I mean, we are testing the feature of an application. Okay, so that is called functional testing. These are the example of functional testing. Now, guys, you are clear, I think. Okay. Now, next point is that what do you test in functional testing? What do we test in functional testing? Four things are there that we need to follow. One is mainline function, then basic usability. Next one is that accessibility, and last one is that error conditions. Now, what do you mean by mainline function? So, testing the main function of an application. So if I take this as an example, the login page, what is my main function? Main function is that login button is working or not. That is my main functionality. Okay. So this is the mainline function, testing the main functions of an application. Now basic usability. So what do you mean by basic usability? It involves basic usability testing of the system. Like it's check whether a user can freely navigate through the screen without any difficulties. Okay, suppose I am clicking on the login button and one new page, home page is appear. So in that home page, let's say there is one another button. So if we click that button, one another page is appear. One, suppose one dashboard page is appear. Okay. So the basic usability means we have to check the whether we can freely navigate through the application. Means clicking on the login button, home page is appearing. In that home page button, suppose there is one another button. If we clicking on the button, one dashboard page is appearing. If we browser back, then if we browser back from that particular dashboard page, it will redirect to this page. Okay. Again, if we browser back this, then it will redirect to this page. So like that. So we have to check that we are freely navigating or not throughout the application. That is the basic usability. We have to check that in the functional testing. Third one is that accessibility. So checks the accessibility of the system for the user. How the system is accessible for the user. How many user can access our application. We have to check that. Okay. So that is called accessibility. And last one is that error detection, error condition. What do you mean by error condition? So usage of testing technique to check for error condition. Now let's say it's check whether suitable error message are displayed. Suppose let's say whenever we are putting the correct username and correct password, then clicking on the login button, so this page is appearing, this home page is appearing. That is perfectly fine. Now whenever we are putting incorrect username and correct password and then clicking on the login button, or incorrect username or incorrect password, both are incorrect, and clicking on the login button, then obviously there here should display some required message in red color or something like that, that uh, mm, your password or uh, username is not, your username and password is not correct, like that. Some message should be displayed here also, and for password here also, right? Here also, and for username here also, some red color message should be shown, right? So this is the error condition. So whenever we are testing through, we have to also check that. That is some functional testing. Okay. So this is the condition, error condition. So the four things we have to test on the functional testing, that is mainline function, basic usability, accessibility, and error condition. Okay. Now coming to the next one is that how to do functional testing. How to do functional? Very simple way. First, we have to understand the functional requirements. What is the functional requirements? What is the client requirement? What is the requirements client has been given to us? What is the requirement? So that functional requirement, we have to first understand that very carefully. If you're understanding whatever the client requirement has, if you don't understand properly, then you cannot test anything. So if you test anything, that will obviously fail. Okay. So first we have to understand the functional requirement. Then second one is that identify test input or test data based on the requirements. We have to identify that what data we will use for that particular testing. Okay. So just like that, what username or what password we will put here. That is the test data. Test data means which data, I mean which data we are putting on whenever we are testing, whenever we are executing our application. That is nothing but called a test data, right? So we have to identify the test data based upon requirements. Okay. Now third one is that complete the expected outcomes with selected test input values. So whenever we are putting any test data as the input, then obviously our expected outcome should be compute. We have to check our expected condition. That what I have already told you, that what input we are putting and what output we are getting. In the functional testing definitions I have already told you. Okay. So we have to compute the expected outcomes with selected test input values. Okay. Now we have to execute the test cases. What test cases we have written for any particular functionality, that test cases we have to execute that. Now whenever the execution is done, then we have to compare our actual results and expected results. So expected result means client requirement. Actual result means whenever we are testing our application, what result we are getting, that is called actual results. So after executing the test case, we have to match that two things, that our expected results is equal to actual results or not. If our expected results is equals to actual results, then we can say that yes, our functional testing is pass. But if the expected results is not equals to our actual results, then we can say that the functional testing or that particular requirement testing is fail. So we have to follow that 5 step for the functional testing. So very carefully, first we have to understand the functional requirements very carefully. Then second one is that identify the test data based on requirements. And the third one is that compute the expected outcomes with selected test input values. Fourth one is that execute test cases. And fifth one is that we have to compare the actual results and expected results. Okay, so these are the 5 steps how to do functional testing. Now coming to the next one is that types of functional testing. There are many types of there functional testing, like unit testing, integration testing, system testing, acceptance testing, smoke testing, sanity testing, regression testing, white box testing, black box testing, etc, etc, etc. Okay, so lots of testing types are there. So in my previous video I have already discussed about unit testing, smoke testing, sanity testing, integration testing, user acceptance testing, regression testing. So lots of things I have already discussed. If you guys have not seen my last videos, so I will request you, please see my last video, then you can get a detailed knowledge on that unit testing, smoke testing, sanity testing, integration testing, etc, etc, etc. So which testing is, I mean, white box testing, black box testing, some other also there are different testing is there. So I will cover all the things, so no problem. There will be some separate video, so no problem, don't worry. Now coming to the next one is that functional testing tool. So in my functional testing definitions, I told you that functional testing can be done either manually or by automation. So in automation, there's some tool is available. So we have to maintain that tool for the functional testing. That is Selenium. We already heard this name very time. Selenium is a very popular functional testing tool. Okay. Then one is QTP, then JUnit, then SOAPY, etc. So many functional testing tools are available in the market. So there will be some another playlist series will be there in my videos in my channel. So that is Selenium by using Java. So I will upload that video one by one. So no problem. So how the functional testing will be happen by Selenium, I will see you with some real-time example. Okay, so no problem. Now coming to the next one is that advantages of functional testing. Okay, so what advantages are there? Obviously there is lots of advantages there. First, functional testing ensures to deliver a bug-free product. As we are testing the functionality of an application and we are checking that our expected results is equals to actual results or not, so we can ensure that the product, which product we are delivered to our client, that product will be bug-free product. This is the most important advantages of functional testing. Now coming to the second one is that as it is a bug-free product, so we can assure that we are delivering a high quality product. Which product has no bug, so we can treat them as a high quality product. Means quality is high. There is no defect at all. So functional testing ensures to deliver a high quality product. Right. The next one is that no assumptions about the structure of the system. And the last one is that the testing is focused on the specifications as per the customer usage. The testing is focused on the specification as per the customer usage, because functional testing is depend upon the client requirement, what client has given to us. That is we are checking. That's why I'm telling you that our expected results is equals to actual results or not, right? So this functional testing is focused on the specifications as per the customer usage. Okay, clear? Now coming to the next one is that disadvantages of functional testing. There is lots of disadvantages also present. The first one is that there are high chances of performing redundant testing. Maybe sometime there is chances to redundant testing will be happen. Okay, some logical error can be missed out in the product. As we are testing the functionality area, we are not testing any type of internal code structure. Okay, we are just checking the input and we are getting the output, and we can say that our actual results is equals to expected results or not. So sometimes some logical error can be missed out. Okay, we can miss some logical error, so we have to make sure that we are not doing any wrong on that functional testing. Okay, now third one is that if the requirement is not complete, then performing this testing becomes difficult. Suppose, as I have already told you, that what functional testing says. Functional testing says that validates the software system against the functional requirements. That means obviously the key point is the functional requirement. So if the requirement is present, then we can 100% check our functional test cases. All test cases will be checked if all the requirements are present. But if all the requirements are not present, if the requirement is incomplete, okay, then we cannot performing the functional test case. As per assumption, we cannot test. We are thinking that if we clicking on that button, some another page will comes up. So we are just thinking. We are not sure about what is the customer requirement, what is the client requirement, what is the functional requirement. That means that if the requirement is not complete, then we can't perform the functional testing. If we perform, it becomes very difficult, and in future it will it will be very, it will create some big blunder, because we are assuming that, right? So this is the disadvantage of functional testing. So now guys, you are very much clear about what is functional testing in very detailed way. So, and also this is one of the most interview questions also. This is one of the most interview question. So maximum time the interviewer first questions will be what is the functional testing, and maximum time we did some, we are telling some wrong definitions that what is functional testing. So now you guys are very much clear about what is functional testing. And as a tester, every time you have to do the functional testing. In any applications, any module, first you have to do the functional testing. Whenever the developer has developed any applications and the developer has given that application to you, your first work, your first test is to do the functional testing. Okay, so it's a very important topic of software testing. If you guys have any doubt, please comment me. If you guys like my video, one thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel EduPaat. And if you want, you can share these videos to your friends. Okay, so see you in the next videos with some interesting testing related topic. Thank you.